We can see here from this example of McLeod's theory of time movement and how the frames or panels shift very quickly. This is like a moment to moment kind of thing. She's obviously in labor, she's in a lot of pain, they're having a conversation, versus something like a scene to scene, which we also see in here. But this one in particular is just an example of the movement to movement or moment to moment theory by McLeod. We can also take a look at the Bang's theories of color as well. We can see that she's covered in black, black dress that gives like an eerie or dark, fearful look. But that's what makes her that strong, gives her that strong sense of a woman and kind of like, I guess, manly or non-feminine, takes her femininity away from her. As far as themes, we see a theme of kind of like a good and evil. Obviously, in the with the stormtroopers, actually, that's what Hitler used to call his top specialist, and that's where we can see that that comes in with the stormtroopers, and they have the underlying of the black in their mask, which gives them like the underlying of fearfulness. But the white says they're kind of like the innocent feel. But Darth Vader obviously is dressed in black, and his character is very dark, and that comes from Bang's theory as well of dark symbols fear, and it's just evil. It's associated with not good things. Something else I wanted to mention is that Cowboy Bebop gets its name from its ship. The ship that they're traveling through time or space in is called the Bebop, and that's why they call it that. And going back to that, Han and Spike are very similar in the fact that they are that cool kid, bad boy, but they're not the center of attention. They're very important to the story, but they're not the center of attention. Whereas the leads of Luke and Leia, and the same with Lana and Margot, they have different worlds that they come from. They come from different backgrounds, different people that they have always been associated with, but they come together for this common theme of fighting this good versus evil. And those are still the male and female lead roles, but one is obviously more romantically involved than the other. We see also that McLeod has this theory of we can relate to things more because we see ourselves in the story. Especially that's why in his Understanding Comics, he doesn't use a face or doesn't draw on a face or distinct faces because then we see someone else. It's not associated with us. But when we see ourselves in it, then we can be into the story more. We're pulled into it. We feel more of the emotion. So in the story of Margot and Alana, we feel for them because we know that it's a forbidden love. It's the same thing as the Romeo and Juliet, but the sci-fi version. And we want them to be together. We know that they want to escape the war, and you have this baby who they're trying to make a beautiful life for, and they just want something better for them. And so you feel for them in that aspect if you want them to be together, because you see yourself in that. And the same thing with Luke in Star Wars, you want him to find himself because he's kind of lost. He doesn't know who his parents are. And then Obi-Wan Kenobi, he meets him and he takes him to the planet because his aunt and uncle die and there's nothing left for him. But he's never really known his past, and he learns that his father was a samurai or Jedi. And then he just wants to learn who he is, and you just feel for him because he's lost, and we at some point in our life we've all been kind of lost and trying to find ourselves. So just a quick recap here. The themes that we went over this evening are the slight forbidden love because he's kind of into his sister before he realizes it's her, and also the warring planets, they can't be together. We have went over the fight for control. They're fighting for control over not only the surroundings, but over themselves and to figure out kind of who they are. The good versus evil, especially in Star Wars. There's, of course, the bad guys are trying to take over and they're trying to save the ship, and save her because she reaches out for their help. And same thing with Lana and Marco. They're in this war and they're just trying to get out. It's a struggle versus good versus evil. And then the leads again are Luke and Leia, and then some very similar but not in a romantic relationship, as Margot and Alana are. They're from different worlds, and then they come together to fight together. Um, and that's pretty much my analysis. So I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching my analysis.